Welcome to the show. Hi, I'm Randy Jeffers, and we are live from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, we have with us a really special guest. We have Ron Buffone, or if you're in Canada, Buffone, right?
That goes good, yes.
That's right, from New York. And you're from a small town called?
LaGrangeville, from LaGrangeville, New York, and we have a practice in New York and also in Groton, Connecticut.
Wow. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
We have some exciting things to talk to you about. So you may want to get out a little piece of paper and a pencil, because Ron's going to give us some amazing information. But tell us a little bit about you, first of all. I know you're a master herbalist. You do a lot of different things, but tell us a little bit about you. How would you sort of describe yourself?
An enigma. I work in natural healing, and to me, natural healing is something that everyone should at least explore or be open to. I think there's a lot of ideas about natural healing. People don't even understand what it is. Some people think it's just nutrition. Some people think it's herbal. Some people say, oh, I did a cleanse. And what cleanse did you do? Did you do a colon cleanse, a kidney cleanse, a liver cleanse? So everyone just throws these words around, cleanses and supplementation. And I find that they're usually not doing them right, and in doing so, it's not that they ever can do harm, it's just that they don't have that desired result that they could get if they were doing it properly, seeing someone like an herbalist, a natural healer, a naturopath, and stuff like that.
Well, I know you've done a lot of things, and I want to talk about some of those things, but right off the bat, I understand you lost 60 pounds. Tell us about that. My goodness, in a short time, right?
Yeah, my neighbor's kids call me the puffer fish. I can have the ability to gain weight and lose weight probably even quicker than I can gain it. This time I vowed to keep it off permanently. I was 230 pounds on January 29th, and about 2 months...
This year?
This past January 29th,
wow.
And now I'm about 165.
My goodness,
yeah.
How'd you do that? Everybody, I'm sure, wants to know how did you do that.
I just cut off my head.
Yeah.
No, basically, there's many different ways to lose weight. One of my favorite is either a juice fast, but in this instance, because it is the winter, I don't like to do that. I go into a restricted calorie ketogenic diet, where basically I'm burning ketones or fat. Fat is a natural fuel source that your body is used to burning. So it's not very hard to do, just that if you're doing it, you want to do it right. I like to eat a ratio of 75% fat, wow. 20% protein, and 5% carbs, usually with the carbs never totaling more than 25 to 30 grams of carbs per day at absolute max.
Now that sort of sounds like the opposite of what most of us think, right? We think fat, we don't want to eat fat because it's going to stick to us, right?
Yeah, that's usually a consensus. However, it's not fat that makes us fat. It's really carbohydrates that makes us fat, and sugar. See, the way the ketogenic diet works is once you deplete the glycogen stores out of your body, out of your muscles, then your body can burn ketones. So in burning those ketones, now you're cannibalizing basically your fat, your visceral fat. And it's a very safe and effective way to do it. Burning fat is, first off, toxins are stored in your fat cells. When your body doesn't know what to do with toxins from drinking from bottled water, BPAs, or anything like that, instead of storing it in muscle or organs, it stores it in fat if you can't get it out of the colon quick enough, or processed through the body quick enough. So what happens is it stores in the fat. So when you're burning these fats, you're basically getting rid of those toxins that are stored in the fat as well. Now, I will tell you, as part of the ketogenic diet, I do intermittent fasting. I love intermittent fasting, and I'm actually not even against the long-term fast. I believe it's very safe and a very effective way, not only to lose weight, but to promote health and wellness. On a ketogenic diet, basically, you have fat reserves, so that tire that's usually around most people.
Yeah.
That tire basically is that's your fuel. And the wonderful thing about a ketogenic diet and burning ketones instead of glucose and sugar and carbohydrates is you don't feel hungry. So you're not insulin resistant, leptin resistant. Ghrelin, which is the hormone that suppresses hunger hormone, is basically suppressed. So you can literally go the whole day and not even feel hungry. So when you're on these fad diets and stuff like that, you're always hungry, you always feel cheated, and I'm not saying go eat bacon. I like eating healthy fats, avocado oil, olive oil, healthy nuts, and stuff like that. So, and spinach, cruciferous vegetables, lean, fatty meat, not lean, I'm so used to saying lean, but so that's pretty much what it comes down to. And I will tell you, midway through, I decided to switch that intermittent fast where I was only eating, let's say, within a 6-hour window, eating at noon and then at 6, and the next day eat at noon and at 6, with the the macros 75, 25.
Right.
So basically, I decided to then eat one meal a day. It's a longer fast, and then I went to every other day, and then I just decided to do an 11-day water fast.
My goodness.
I know, and I'm alive, and I'm really healthy. And the truth of the matter is, I'm better for it, and I'm healthier for it. A lot of people, and I really would love to emphasize this out there, when you are doing a fast, even if it's a 3-day fast or a 3 to a 5-day water fast, and there's no cheating on the fast because it's no longer a fast. So it's not like, well, I can have a piece of bread or I can have a couple of nuts or a cup of coffee. Nothing. Water only. It's phenomenal. And what happens is, in day 3, first off, when you're fasting before day 3, your autophagy happens. So your body is cannibalizing all your weaker cells, and it's reutilizing them or burning them. So you're getting rid of all that waste and all that toxins that's built up in us. Fasting has been, in the Bible. It's been done in most major religions, and we sort of think that we need to eat 3 squares a day, and that couldn't be anywhere near the truth. We're designed to feast and famine. And so when autophagy happens, we're getting rid of all these garbage cells out of our body, and then approximately 3 days in, something else really happens that's special. And that's where your body goes into this protection mode. It really wants to protect itself. So it starts protecting the muscle mass, and it will burn, fats even, more efficiently. Someone that is undergoing chemotherapy, the scientific studies show that when they are undergoing chemotherapy, if they did it in a fasted state, that very little, if no damage whatsoever, would happen with that chemotherapy, and the chemotherapy would actually be more effective. So you don't have the detriment of the chemotherapy. But also from day 3 on is a wonderful thing also happens is your body starts producing its own stem cells. So if you have an injury, a tear, or something that's really broken or wrong with your body, you need the reset button. A fast is the reset button. Don't be afraid to fast.
That's really amazing. A lot of times people think, and I think it happens to a lot of people, where they start fasting or they start going on a diet and they lose muscle mass. What are they doing wrong? It's
the typical same old. When you're in a ketogenic diet, your body is fat adapted. It's not burning glucose. It's burning ketones. It's burning your own fat. And what you're doing is you're facilitating that. So you're preserving your muscle mass and burning your fat at the same time. And so even if you enter into a fast, it's not like you're burning any lean muscle mass. Your body understands if you're 20% body fat, 30% body fat, 40% body fat, that it knows how much fuel it has left, and it's not going to do any harm. It's going to go for what it's designed to do, which is burn fat and preserve lean muscle mass.
I see. Well, a lot of people have fat over their muscle, right? Maybe it's
That's true too. And if you burn the fat, you'll be able to see the muscle a lot more.
Yeah.
I find it very sad today that because of the way we eat and because of the I call it the SAD diet, standard American diet. It is sad. It's sad that 1 in every 2 people walking around in America right now is chronic. 1 in 2 people in our lifetime will have cancer. I find it sad that 1 in 4 children walking around are obese, and
1 in 4.
1 in 4 are obese and
Wow.
or pre-diabetic. That's sad.
Video games.
Video games, lack of activity, fast foods, high sugar foods. See, in an effort, in a myth that has been perpetuated, which I call the cholesterol myth. We were taught that cholesterol is bad.
Right.
And cholesterol is not bad. Cholesterol is necessary for the body to heal, to work, to function, to produce vitamin D. We need to have cholesterol. We lie in the sun and our body converts cholesterol into vitamin D. That's how our body is designed to work, to be used, to be out there in God's sunlight, and you know, the Bible says, "For I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made." And you know, we have our parents that talk about, oh, you know, my grandmother had this and I'm going to get it too, and we talk about this genetic predisposition towards disease and illness, and people hold on to these diseases and illnesses as if they're own, even though they don't even have it, because their parents had it. Well, guess what? That's not what the Bible said. Like I just told you, I will praise thee, for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Not I'm fearful of the disease I'm going to get.
Right.
There's something called epigenetics, and a lot of people don't really talk about that either. Epigenetics is basically your ability to manipulate your genetics by what you eat, by your environment, by what you drink, by the supplementation. You don't have to meet the markers of disease that your parents, your sister, or sibling, or anyone has. So it doesn't have to go down the way that a lot of doctors, oh, you know, you're predisposed to have this disease or illness. And that's not true. That's just not true. You're in control of that. You know, it's Hippocrates that said, you know, let, you know, food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And now I love it as an herbalist because we've always believed in the gut and healing the gut. I mean, from Hippocrates on, that's been the gospel, right?
Yeah.
This is food. So whatever you eat, you are what you eat, you know. And we have 2 brains. I know this is where we lose a lot of people. We have 2 brains. I'm told that by a dear friend of mine, guys have 3.
I suppose.
And that person is Hal. But the bottom line is, and the first thing is, it's our gut microbiome. This is our first brain. This is the brain that developed first in our mother's womb, and this is the second brain, our thinking brain. And they're connected via the vagus nerve. No relation to Las Vegas, but the vagus nerve. So with this communication, this regulates our hormones, our immune system, our mental health, our overall state of being. I mean, it's so much more important than a lot of people, you know, have thought previously. But I'm happy to see that medical science talking about it now, and people using probiotics, and I think more importantly than probiotics is prebiotics, or if you want to even go one step further, fermented foods that you should be making yourself, right?
Talk to us about, a lot of people probably don't know what that means, prebiotics and probiotics. Can you explain that?
Sure. Probiotic is something that you're taking and that's trying to put in to your gut microbiome.
Okay.
A prebiotic is a short-chain sugar like FOS, a fructoooligosaccharide. So it's a short-chain sugar that actually helps your good bacteria. Once it will pass through and it will go into your gut, and it will help your good gut bacteria flourish and thrive, as opposed to feeding the bad bacteria. The thing that feeds the bad bacteria is sugar.
Now, are all sugars, do they all do the same thing? Are there good sugars?
I like sugar. I'm an addict. My name is Ron Buffone. I'm a sugar addict, and I think a lot of us are. And I think that when you take into consideration sugar, if you're getting it from a natural source, it's going to be a little bit easier on the body to process. I can tell you that I've done every type of diet, everywhere from a raw vegan, where I've done raw vegan for over a year, where I've juiced and ate no cooked food, only raw, vegetables. And to all the, raw vegans out there, I'd like to just say, just please be careful with your vitamin B levels. It would not hurt to supplement vitamin B. And anyone that is north, over the winter, I'm a very big fan of supplementing with vitamin D3 as well, because our body needs vitamin D3. We're taught that is over 50% effective against the flu, yet most people run to the flu shot, something that I'm not a big fan of either.
Interesting. I've had a chance to meet 3 legends. One of them was Linus Pauling, who is a big proponent of vitamin C, right? And the other one was Dr. Stanley Jacobs from Portland, Oregon, who is the father of DMSO and MSM. And then the other one, I can't remember his name, but he was from the University of California, San Diego. But I was in Hawaii, my family was in Hawaii, and I went down to the hot tub early, and there was one older guy in there, and we sat down and I got in the hot tub and we were talking. And about an hour later, it was just packed with people who were his students who come from all over the country. And he is like the premier guy with vitamin D. But it was really interesting when I had him alone, and he was telling me all the reasons why I needed to supplement. So, but he's taught all these students, and they've gone off to schools, but they come every year and celebrate together. But they're all professors now and furthering that work. But I guess it's really, really important to have vitamin D.
It's really hormonal, and it regulates your gut.
Yeah.
So without vitamin D, your gut is not in stasis. And same thing with excess sugar, your dysbiosis. So the last thing you want to do is have bad gut flora. You want your gut flora to be healthy gut, healthy person.
So what are some of the foods, because I know everybody out there is just like me, they want to know what should I stay away from? It all sounds good, but you have all this knowledge, but I'm not going to retain it, and I feel good when I'm listening to you, but what should I stay away from?
Simplify it is what you're asking me to do.
Yeah, please.
Jack LaLanne, who I have a lot of respect for. He was this crazy guy in leotards, right, jumping up and down into his mid or late 90s, at 92, pulling 2 tugboats with his teeth. And I think he put it the best. If God made it, eat it. If man made it, leave it alone. Man did not make, hopefully this show doesn't have a sponsor or anything like that, Doritos or any of these chips and dips. Right. Natural foods. You got to stay whole foods, natural foods, organic foods. Today we live in a world of counterfeits. Who's the author of all lies and counterfeits, right? It's the enemy. And the enemy creates these counterfeit GMO foods. They're destructive to your gut microbiome. All right, so let's talk about that basically for a brief moment. You're looking at GMO crops. They use an herbicide called glyphosate, but they genetically engineer the crop to be resistant to glyphosate. So you have this glyphosate-resistant crop, and it's supposed to, kumbaya, feed the world, and even wheat today. I don't eat wheat anymore, and because that there's so many studies on this. Wheat used to be 26 chromosomes. Now we hybridize it, again trying to feed the world, and I call it MPG, man playing God, where they crossbred it, and now all of a sudden you have wheat, which is 52 chromosomes, and ever since that you have all this celiac and all these wheat allergies that never really existed prior. Why? Because man just genetically said, let's do this, and we do these things not even knowing the consequences. But now the consequences, even though they're covered up, and it's said by Monsanto's and the Conagras that all these genetically modified crops, what they do is, yes, it will not kill the plant when they spray it. That still stands.
Right.
But those chemicals go into the soil, and that gets absorbed into the plant. And we eat that genetically modified plant, and now what do? Just like it's an herbicide. It's designed to kill, and it kills our gut.
Yeah.
So we eat those genetically modified plants, we're killing our gut flora. Antibiotics kill the gut flora. I mean, now they're just starting to learn that all of these antibiotics have been abused and overused for many years. And don't get me wrong, I believe there's a place for antibiotics and stuff like that. But under extreme circumstances, not like the kid has a little sore throat or a sniffle, you go and give him a Z-Pack But what most people don't even consider is that a lot of these antibiotics are being used in our food chain right now. They give them to the chickens, they give them to the cows, they give them to the pigs, and so all these resistant strains of bacteria are being developed. And then we eat these things, and now we wonder why these antibiotics are relatively ineffective on us. But, I don't know of any antibiotic that's better than, God's right now. You have garlic, which is an antiviral, antibacterial, and an antifungal.
So if you're going to have garlic, how would you take it?
That's an excellent question. No, well, we're taught that this was proven in my household and now subsequently in practice over and over again. Strep throat, so prevalent amongst kids, especially in school. And for strep throat, you take equal amounts of get 12 parts garlic, an equal amount of honey to cover that over, and cayenne, as hot as you can take it without it's going to burn your throat. And you just take a teaspoon of that every half hour or so. And since you would stink like garlic after this, you're not going to send your kid to school, but they shouldn't be going to school anyway if they have strep. To contaminate other kids, but usually within 24 to 48 hours, strep throat will be gone, quicker than the Z-Pack actually starts to work. At least that happened over and over from my experience.
My goodness. Now, most people in our society, at least in this country, they wake up and they grab a cup of coffee. What about coffee?
I think coffee's a great enema.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's coffee's a great. It goes in great the other direction, and which
is not a bad thing.
I think a coffee enema and enemas in general are a fantastic thing for health. Mm-hmm. I'm a proponent of them. I think that and I'm sure someone that's a little bit older, not the millennials today, but you can probably ask your parents, millennials, when they remember what would be hanging on their shower stalls when their grandparents there would be this red enema bag, and you're always saying, What's that? Right. What's that for? And you heard the word enema, you're like, But the truth of the matter is, enemas are great. I mean, when you are sick, we're the only species of animal that will eat when we're sick. And we're taught, eat when you're sick. It's not fever, starve or cold, starve or fever, cold. When you're sick, you don't eat. You just drink water. You drink bone broth. You drink things that's going to flush things through your body. And the reason is you're not going to spend time on digestion and elimination. You're going to spend time on healing. And the quicker you get that fecal matter with an enema out of your colon, you're not going to, be spending time on that.
So coffee only for an enema, not.
Oh no!
You don't want to drink it.
I don't drink coffee. Rarely I will, and it depends. Like that's sometimes every once in a while pre-workout I would go and do almost like a bulletproof style coffee, but I don't do it with MCT oil. I love heavy cream. I think the cream is a little bit sweeter. I'm going to burn it off anyway, and MCT is great as well. So I'm seeing some medium chain triglyceride, coconut oil, or the like. So those things are all good if you're going to put it in coffee. But coffee is a diuretic. It strips water out of your body. Mm. When I wake up first thing in the morning, I have a 16-ounce glass of water. The second my feet hit that ground, I chug 16 ounces of water. I want to get rid of all of that metabolic waste that my body just spent all night getting rid of. And I want to flush that through. Mm-hmm. I want to wake up my colon. Whatever your body weight is, you need to be drinking half a dozen ounces of water every day. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you better be drinking 100 ounces of water every day.
Well, that's a lot.
It's sufficient. Your colon needs to work properly. You need to flush these toxins out of you. Your body derives energy from water as well. I mean, hence, you're getting it from your fat when you're fasting, and also water. It's hydrogen. It's the fuel that puts, spaceships in the air.
So sweet tea doesn't count as water, huh?
No, sweet tea certainly does not. That's an inside joke.
Yes,
sweet tea does not count as water. And, I look at it like this, too, that we live in a society that there's no accountability. You know,
Yeah.
eat what you want, drink what you want, think what you want, watch whatever you want on the internet, and there's no consequence to that. But when the consequence does happen, you have high blood sugar, cholesterol, you know, there's a pill for that. When that pill doesn't work, don't worry, there's a procedure for that. When that procedure doesn't work, they cannibalize one part of your body to another part of the body for that. That's not the way God intended it to be. God intended it for you to live a long, happy, healthy life, that you may prosper. And as an herbalist, I believe the Bible clearly when it says, let the leaves be for medicine and the fruit be for meat.
Wow.
So I believe in the healing properties of herbs. I mean, a lot of the drugs today are derived from herbs. You know, one of them I like to talk about is ephedra. Ephedra was this great herb. It was safe. It was this amazing herb that was safely used by Native Americans and the like. It's for colds and stuff like that. So the pharmaceutical companies came up with pseudoephedra, Sudafed. And it wasn't working quick enough, so they added caffeine to it. Pseudoephedra, caffeine. And that became pseudoephedrine. And then people were getting, then that was doing really good. It was helping people lose weight as a weight loss thing. And people then were having heart attacks from it and PSVT, you know, from it, and all sorts of heart conditions. And then there were lawsuits from it. And then there was tractor trailers of the stuff that were being hijacked and, you know, made into speed, the drug, you know, speed itself. So now they sort of made the herb a little bit off limits now, but the Sudafed still sold.
By prescription, right?
I think it's not by prescription. I think it's by behind the counter though now.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I can go on and on about that. I'm
I'll
sorry.
bet, yeah. You know, a lot of people like to go out at happy hour time, or they like to go out on the weekends, and they'll have a cocktail or two, or maybe a bunch of them, or beer or wine. What about alcoholic products?
I think some alcohols are okay. I mean, we have to live.
Yeah.
You know, every once in a while, I have a slice of pizza. I love pizza. It's my kryptonite food. Yes, I know it's gluten. Yes, I know it has wheat. Yes, I know it has, you know, cheese and everything like that. And you know, I know it has tomatoes, which some people say, well, it has lectins and all sorts of other things. But you know what? You have to live. So as long as you're willing to detox and you eat, you know, relatively clean, you should live as well. You need to enjoy your life.
Now, how about red wine? There's a lot of talk about red wine being healthy, right?
I'd rather the grape juice come into play, you know, instead of the red wine itself. I think you're going to have a lot better results with that. But red wine does work too.
Okay. So every now and then, maybe it's okay. Just
Sure,
not on
without a
regular-
doubt. Enjoy, like I said, enjoy. I'm Italian, you know. If I have to have a glass of red wine, especially if I go over to my Aunt Peppina's house. If I go there and there's wine on the table, I don't drink it. It's disgraziata. Well, you know, like, why are you being a disgrace and not drinking my homemade wine?
Right. That's interesting. Well, this is such a fascinating field, and I know you have helped a lot of people. If you were to describe, think about maybe the best miracle that's happened with one of your patients. Tell us that story.
Well, I had a client that had come in. Well, I had so many different miracles. It depends. Like, I had a bodybuilder. I work on a lot of elite athletes, and one of the bodybuilders came in with a level 2 tear on the bicep prior to competition, and we were able to get him to the competition, where I believe he took second place in that without surgery or anything else, and that was using pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. So high power PEMF therapy, along with photobiomodulation, which is laser therapy. We were able to effectuate that, you know, healing, and get him to his show. In other words, the body is capable of healing itself. And that's what we do. We try to enable the right conditions with nutrition, with herbals, with technology. One that we just recently entered into is utilizing a CBD, and that's how come I'm going to tell you about that. Is we had one of my partner's children. They have autism, and that child came into the office not being, you know, vocal, and what happened was we did some high power PMF therapy on the brain. We also did photobiomodulation right through the eyes, through the optic nerve, right into the brain. And so we were able to really get the brain stimulated from multiple different directions via neurological protocols utilizing PEMF. And so that night, the parents were driving home, and I get this call, and I have to be careful in my language. It's, "Ron, what the F did you do to my child?" And I'm thinking, oh my God, is everything all right? Did I give him a little too much energy and everything? Because it's all safe. These are safe modalities. Okay. And then all of a sudden they said, "Here, listen." And I heard the phone go across the back seat, and this is what I hear for a child that was never vocal and the platypus does. The child was talking about platypus, first time vocal. So it's blown away by that. So if that isn't a miracle, they did get some CBD as well. We're now learning that CBD is a neuroregenerator. So it will actually, help. And this is, the scientific research is going to be coming out about a bunch of these different things. And I was fortunate enough to meet a bunch of guys at a blood lab, and one of the guys' name is Dr. Bill, and he was able to facilitate a dream product that I was able to come up with, which was a 25 milligram tiered release. Well, the initial release would be 25 milligram, and then a second tier release would be done approximately 6 hours later. And I actually have the results, the paperwork that shows that here's the tiered release. You can see the bump. I don't know if there's a camera anywhere, but
so it kind of goes up.
It goes up
and up here,
and then it goes down. So here's where the second tier, kicks in, and it goes down. So we were able to create this product, with the help of Dr. Bill. He's a genius, and he has a blood lab not too far from here, I believe, and they're doing such amazing work there. They're going to be doing stem cells there. Just recently, I recommended a client that has renal failure to see if anything is going to, be helped with the CBDs and also the stem cells. I think that's important to utilize every natural means ahead of you before. I mean, people can say, well, stem cells aren't natural. Well, neither is a vaccine, a flu shot, or any of these other, crazy drugs or chemotherapy. That's less natural to me. The same thing, stem cell, it's coming from umbilical cords. So you're taking a full-term, healthy, happy parent that says, please take my umbilical cord, let me be a blessing to someone else, and using that umbilical cord or that cord blood to actually facilitate a change or a miracle in someone else's life. Life-giving life more than once. I love that concept.
Sounds pretty natural to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we all have stem cells, right? Our body is full of stem cells, and that's what repairs all the cells as they die off, right?
Absolutely.
We're dying off every second. As we're sitting here, we're losing millions and millions of cells, and there are new ones being replaced, right?
It's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And so that's so I'm good with a natural process that happens in the body. Yeah. And if you even want to go back to the CBD product and stuff like that, this is it right here. If you wanted to.
So this is
actually, it's called Path of Purity.
P.O.P.
Path of Purity. It's a proprietary blend. It's a dual tier release, and it is the only one of its kind product in the world. I'm sure after people seeing it on this show, they're gonna try to duplicate it, and that's good as well.
Well, I think people who are seeing this on the show are going to want to know where can I get this, right?
Oh, how's about that? It would be pathofpurity.com.
Okay, so www.pathofpurity.com. P-U-R-I-T-Y.
Purity.com.
Okay.
That's from Psalm 119:9.
Oh, wonderful. And that's going to be available soon?
It will be.
Okay.
It will be, absolutely. And we're looking forward to getting in the hands of the masses, because we've witnessed literally, and this is not making any medical claims whatsoever. This is the feedback that has been given back to us. People that had TBI, which is traumatic brain injury, taking the product and, stopping shaking. And same, people that... epilepsy, have as experienced great bump as well. And quite honestly, we talked about a ketogenic diet. The ketogenic diet originally was the epileptic diet. It was a diet
Really?
that was originally designed for epileptics to stop shaking, but they found it was not sustainable because people wanted to eat what they want to eat. Again, we live, the flesh is strong.
Yeah, it is strong. Well, very interesting. Well, what an exciting project. What does it feel like whenever you're able to prescribe something for someone and their life just totally changes? That's got to be a great feeling.
Well, as an herbalist, I legally can't prescribe anything like that. However, since this is a supplement, I can't tell people to go to Path of Purity and get a supplement and stick one underneath your tongue and let it dissolve and see how you feel, just like any other supplement. We talked about D3.
Yeah.
We talked about vitamin B. So any of these supplements that you take that can effectuate a change within your physiology for the positive, I'm all for.
It's amazing. Well, I can't wait till this is on the marketplace. And,
do you want to try one? You just pop one open.
There actually is one.
Yeah, there's actually there.
How do we
You
open this thing?
No, you pop it open on the sides.
On the sides?
Yeah, see
There
that
we
popping
go.
sound?
Yeah.
Here, I'll take one too.
Okay.
Good, and this is what you do. You just place it
So there's
sublingual.
no danger.
There's no danger whatsoever.
No
And
risk.
There's
Okay.
no risk, and not only that, this is under the legal limit of THC. So
Okay.
you take it, you put it under your tongue, and look, I can talk. And the beautiful thing about something like this is, it's a mint. It's like a CBD mint, and you put one under your tongue. So if you're a school teacher, you're undergoing a little bit of stress, you're at the bank, you're driving in car, and you just put it underneath your tongue. You'll switch it around a little bit to the other side. Mine's just starting to dissolve now.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just take this, you put it under your tongue, and all of a sudden you have this nice, release of CBD into your system. And it's not like an oil. A lot of the CBDs out there today, and this is why it was designed this way. And when I say that I designed this, I want to give the glory to God, because I do that in everything I do. This idea definitely comes from God. And like I said, Dr. Bill was the one that facilitated it. But how many times you see people trying to take CBD oil and it smells like pot, and it's not. And this has under the legal limit, it's 0.3% THC, and you see them tilt back with some oil, and they're trying to go like this, and it's can spill. This is absorbable right under the tongue within 30 seconds, and then 6 hours later you get that second bump, and it's easy to use. It's not hard to use, and for children that have autism who can't really take that oil under their tongue and they just swallow it, and this is it's an easier delivery system. It's an easier take, and I think it's far more effective too, because it's a 50 milligram measured and metered dose. I'm trying to get the CBD under the tongue.
There's no taste to it. It's actually very pleasant.
Yeah, it's relatively mild. So
now you mentioned a couple things for a lot of us that maybe we don't know where CBD comes from, but as I understand it, it comes from the plant, right? From the hemp plant.
Absolutely, it does.
Okay.
And the funny thing about the hemp plant is, in biblical times, that hemp was prevalent. It was used for rope. It was used for animal feed. It was used for people feed. You can buy hemp, today. Hemp is in shampoos. It's you can buy hemp protein. It's the type of protein that I give to my own children. So these are, it's a hemp protein is full spectrum amino acids. So and it's bioavailable. It's not a soy-based protein. I find a lot of soy-based proteins emasculate, men. Soy is estrogenic, so you don't want to put estrogen into yourself as a male, and you're trying to get, build muscle. So I love a hemp-based product. I think it is a food. This is basically a food that's in oil, made into a pill.
So now probably a lot of people are thinking, well, if that comes from the hemp, does it have something to do with marijuana? How does all that work?
It's an excellent question. This is not a marijuana product. I want to make that very clear. It's the company's policy to get people well, not high. We don't want high people. We want well people. We want to promote health and wellness the way God intended it to be. So we view this as a product that does that, and we don't want to ever be a proponent of anyone, getting high whatsoever, and we will never support that.
Now, from the hemp plant, you can't get high anyway, right?
No.
It's related to the marijuana plant? They're like cousins or something? How does that?
Yeah, they're both theoretically the same, plant. One is hemp, one's marijuana. One produces THC, one produces, CBD. Well, they both produce CBD, but one has high, THC. And if you look at the medicinal value of the CBD oil, it's basically going to be, that's where the sweet spot is of a lot of the benefit. And so you don't really need to get high, you need to get well.
Exactly. Okay, so with the hemp plant we're safe, with the marijuana plant it's a different story.
Completely true, yeah.
Okay, all right, well that's good. Well, wow, I think you're going to have another miracle session happening here with a lot of people, huh?
I hope so. And just recently I'm looking forward to hopefully working with the Blood Lab and Dr. Bill. They're going to be doing some amazing stuff over there, and I know with the herbals, the custom crafted herbals that we're capable of doing there, with the PMF therapy that we're able to do there, with taking athletes and making them from a 10 to a 12 and getting their proprioception better and getting them on a specific diet protocol to their needs and their performance goals. That's what we are looking forward to doing over there.
Oh, that's great. Well, you mentioned athletes. I know you've worked with a lot of athletes, right? Tell us about that.
Athletes are always interesting. I find that they're the greatest subjects simply because they're disciplined.
Yeah.
And if there's ever one thing I can wish that I can teach to the lay person would be from that athlete, is to be disciplined, because they make their living, their career on their performance. And when they slack off in one area, that affects them in the bottom line, their performance, their career. So they will always take that specific subset of directions to the letter and do it perfectly. So they are amazing physical specimens. It's very important when you're even comparing yourself to an athlete, not to just try to be as physically as fit as they are, or to the level that they're going to be, especially overnight. You can get there, but to just take it slowly from that aspect. But if you're going to learn one thing, it's just listen to, if you want the desired results, listen to the desired instructions, and that's where these healing, you enable your body to heal itself. We're taught 3 square meals a day. We're taught, all of these, in order to be healthy, you can't have, cholesterol, you can't have fat. When I'm telling you flat out, that's completely wrong.
Now, some of these, we could use a lot of examples, but let's just say a professional athlete who is at the top of his game. What do they do that's differently? Do they eat differently than most people?
Oh yeah, they eat differently, they drink differently, and they think differently, and that's a perfect thing, because I know we don't have a lot of time left, but we are what we eat, we are what we drink, and we are what we think. And I know that even today, I always encourage people never to drink soda. Water is always the best thing to drink. People say, well, it's diet soda, it has no sugar. Yes, but it still will it will still have aspartame in it. Aspartate. It will lower your body pH to approximately 2.3, I believe. So you don't want to ever lower your body pH. That's your electrical conductivity, and the body is electric. So the more electric we are, the more alive we are, the more alert we are, the more performance oriented we are. So we always try to encourage an alkalized state for an athlete, not only with food but with everything they do, because that's the body, like I said, is electric.
When you mentioned Diet Coke, this is a town with a lot of buffets, right? And it's interesting. You go and you just watch people. It's a great place to people watch, but you'll see people that are pretty wide. They'll go and they'll just load up their plates, or 2 plates or 3 plates, and then they'll go back over to get a drink, and they'll order a diet drink, as if somehow that's going to going to help them, right?
Is in actuality, a lot of people that drink that, it still produces an insulin response. So you drink that Diet Coke, your body releases insulin. There's especially if you just have it alone. So now there's no insulin, there. So you become insulin resistant. And all these frequent carbohydrate meals that you're eating throughout the day, you're just increasing that insulin resistance.
Yeah. Well, Ron, listen, I had 1,000 more questions. We're going to have to have you on many, many times more. But thanks so much for sharing with us. I know we're out of time here, but it's just been absolutely fascinating. So I can't wait till next time. So we'll see you sometime really soon. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same station. Bye-bye, everybody.